Now, the Action Alliance has asked a federal high court to restrain INEC from including the APC and its candidates on the ballot for the 2023 presidential election, even though the Tinubu campaign organization has said that it is yet to be served with the process. Well, let's get into the conversation now. I am joined by Mr. Babatunde Ogala, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Legal Director for the Tinubu campaign organization, and Barrister Anthony Ehilebo, a PDP chieftain. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let me begin with Mr. Ogala. Let me ask you this. You had said earlier that you were yet to be served with the processes. Have you now been served?
Not yet.
But what's your reaction to this entire thing? You know, what's the validity of the documents circulating on social media?
You see, I don't know what documents anybody is circulating on the social media. I sit here as director of the campaign for legal matters, and I'll speak strictly as a lawyer, not delve into the realm of speculations, rumors, blackmail, and what have you. The question I ask myself, and I want to ask the viewers, what is the qualification prescribed for presidential candidates? It says educated up to school certificate level. This same constitution goes further to define school certificate level as education to primary 6, first school level certificate, and 10 years experience of work. And even goes further to say ability to read and write. Does this candidate meet this minimum educational qualification? Yes, he does. He has come here to say, I have a degree. I'm a lawyer. I'm a senior advocate. If I was to go into an election today, I won't go to the... I will put my degree. I am educated beyond school certificate level. And this is what I put forward. The law does not, and I say this authoritatively because the same thing applies to the PDP candidate, though I'm not speaking from the PDP candidate. There's also the same allegation that he didn't put his primary school, and I mean, these are pedestrian issues. And if anybody feels so strongly that there have been false declarations in their affidavits of our candidate, the law also permits as parents, please mark my words, as parents to approach the courts. So if anybody feels so strongly, approach the courts. It's not the court of social media. We won't react to all of that.
Barrister Ehilebo, you've listened to...
we won't react to court of rumors.
But
like I said,
regardless.
Like I said, they said the same thing to the PDP candidate, and I'm like, well, I don't know what they are thinking, but I see no issues in it.
Regardless, while you say that you will not react to social media, I just want to confirm if the document from the Chicago State University is authentic.
What a question. If it is authentic, my candidate has a certificate. He has in his NYC discharge certificate. All there in the public. So what is the hula baloo?
Barrister,
we are chasing what is not lost.
Barrister Ehilebo, let me ask you this question. Are you satisfied with the explanation given by...
Oh, he's supposed to be interrogating me?
Absolutely.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was... Okay, let's go. Well, I hope I will interrogate his candidate too.
Well, I think... Thank you very much, Terry, for having me. And I think we must establish the fact that the very basic requirement is the ability to read and write for the presidential candidates. But the question we must ask is, why is everybody perturbed about the APC candidates? Why is there so much noise about this man? We can't tell exactly where he's from. We can't tell the schools he went to. And going by what the country has suffered in the last 7 years, having someone who did not go through the rigors of education. Education is there to put you through rigors. You pass through school. That's why they tell you, you allow education to pass through you, the school to pass through you, and you pass through the school. And that is why perhaps in the last 7 years of this administration, owing to the fact that we have a president who has not been in the four walls of the university, and we acknowledge that fact. We have had the highest number of strikes. And I take the point the distinguished senator that speaks for the Senate, Senator Ajibola, made, that it's a terrible thing that we're still having the strike and that the effect is having on our education. Have we linked this to the fact that we have somebody sitting there who has no experience of what the university education would seem to provide for the average citizen? Nigeria today suffers the highest level of out-of-school children. And we think it's a joke for the person who would want to lead Nigeria not to have had educational qualifications or experience.
Well,
just
a second, if you speak to the documents available from INEC, beyond what we expect from a candidate, are you satisfied with the affidavit of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his explanation that his certificates were stolen while he was in exile?
Well, in 1999, this same candidate was seeking to be governor of Lagos State. And he put two schools, the government, this daycare school in Ibadan and government college Ibadan. And he went between 1958 to 55 to 58. And then we've had someone come out to say, I was in that school from 52 to 58. And I do not know this man, I do not recognize him, that we went to the same school. Look, I went to a primary, secondary, and university, and I'm in all my alumni groups. I went to University of Buckingham with the same set individual's son. He went to University of Buckingham. He's on our alumni group. What alumni group is this individual in? Where exactly is he from? These are questions, perhaps. He tried to mention the candidate of the PDP. They can't put them in the same box. At least we know that someone went to Provincial College, Yola. We've seen pictures of people he went to school with. We know that he has pictures for his diploma in ABU. We know that recently he has just graduated from Anglia Ruskin University, which is part of the Cambridge setup, and a master's in international relations and what have you. Look, we cannot keep electing people who do not have an appetite for education. We cannot simply put the lives of 200 million people who depend on people who are educated to take Nigeria to the next level. We can see by all indices of governance that we have failed simply because we have put people who do not think that education is as serious as it should be given a priority in Nigeria. Let me say this. The PDP has a candidate who believes so strongly in education that he owns a university.
Let me go to Mr. Ogala, just a second. Let me go to Mr. Ogala. Chief Bode George had said that even in 1999, when Asiwaju was running for governor, he was asked to present these papers, and he didn't have them. So while you agree that, or while it's almost agreeable that at the presidential level or to run for office, you don't need those, you don't need that level of education. Just a second.
Okay.
Are you not concerned that this is generating a sort of reaction in the public space, considering that Nigerians are not interested in going through the certificate saga that it went through in 2015?
Terry Kumi, my colleague here, even though he calls me a he, I would have thought he would recognize the fact that I'm a senior at the bar and a senior member, not he. I would have thought so. But that's by the way, he's my colleague. I think we need to be careful. When lawyers speak, we speak to the law. I wasn't coming here to dance in the market. I will talk law. I'm a senior advocate. What are the issues that the judge is raising? He has made authoritative statements, a lawyer, that somebody said is not an alumni group. Excuse me. I went to the University of Jos. I mean, we have several groups. I would not say because somebody said. We deal with facts. We as lawyers are not supposed to just come on national television and play with words and make comments that are even potentially defamatory. you know. But the judge said in 1999, a petition was put before the Lagos State House of Assembly, the body constitutionally provided for to investigate, including removal of governors and their deputies. The governor, then governor, was invited and he was exonerated. Nobody till this date has challenged that in any court. Some persons went to court on the same issue. The matters were litigated upon. No court in the land has said this man did any wrong. 15 years out of office, nobody. But an election cycle comes, we start raising issues that I say are non-issues. I asked Mr. Hilebo pointedly, does he meet the constitutional requirements? Atiku has said he went to a Ruskin University. He has said so, and I believe him. He has put in his form, which I saw, primary school gap, secondary school gap. Even the APU he did not put there. Need he put things that the law does not require him to put? The law says educated up to a certain level. And it's gone far beyond that level.
Has he produced that document?
Produced what? Does
the
the law?
first school...
Does the... You mean Atiku?
I mean Tinubu.
In his current form?
Yes.
He has put in his form, I have a bachelor's degree, Chicago State University.
I'm talking about the minimum requirement that you speak of.
He's not... Terry, you think me, I want to find a job now? I'll put my primary school certificate.
But that's the minimum requirement of the Constitution, as you said.
The Constitution says educated up to. It does not prescribe.
So what's the proof of that education then?
Just a minute. It says educated up to minimum required. And it goes further to define school certificate. And somebody has gone far beyond the minimum. You expect him. So you expect me now as a senior advocate with a certificate of admission to the INABA, and I want to prove that I'm a senior advocate, I'll go and bring my LLB. You say, first proof to me that you're a lawyer. Excuse me, that won't happen. That won't happen.
Let me say this.
Sorry, I keep getting...
Let me allow him round off.
I speak as a lawyer. I'm not one that wants to speak on rumors, conjectures, and what have you. The law says, and like I've said, if anyone feels strongly, the details have been published. Please approach the courts.
Let me allow Mr. Hilebo come in here, please.
Well, since my learned SAN, Leonard Silk, decides to bring up these issues, and I might as well have kept quiet to allow him land, as we do in court. But I'll dwell on that point of him being an SAN, such an exalted position in our legal profession. But it possibly has taken me out of breath that with such high level of qualification, he would want to elect someone who we are not sure of his educational background as our president.
Then go to court and challenge it.
Leonard SAN, I'm under his protection, and I would like for me to be able to make my point, sir. It is interesting that, the best and the brightest are sent to defend the indefensible. And that is the state we find Nigeria today. And that is a quagmire. We cannot continue another 8 years of saying, why didn't we check this man's credentials? Why didn't we question rigorously everything that is put before us? He says he's not a politician, he's not here, but the issue he's arguing here is a political issue. So he must come into the realm of politics, and we talk like politicians, and we bring out the issues that Nigerians want to ask us. Who is this man that seeks to become president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? What is his educational qualification? 7 years ago, I beg to differ on his points. Nigeria said even if the man had NEPA certificate, we'll take it. Well, we have seen today what NEPA certificate can get us.
The Supreme Court said, Please.
Yes, sir. Allow me,
Supreme
because
Court.
I allowed you to
Let me.
We do not have
Sorry, Mr.
Hillable.
Gentlemen, let me take you to
Sir, we are not in court.
let me take you.
Front bench. Allow me to make my point.
Just a second.
I still have the floor.
Let me just take you to the
point, sir.
All right, just round off then.
So, we can't come here and be intimidated by, because I'm actually looking at the consequences for Nigeria, how we have felt over the last couple. Now, ASU is still on strike. ASU is still on strike, and we are here arguing about Nigeria has one of the highest.
Let me come in here. He's coming from a legal point, and he said that if the PDP is aggrieved, it should go to court.
Thank you.
So is the PDP going to go to court over this matter?
Well, I have not consulted my principal on what he intends to do. Like,
but would you advise that the PDP goes to court?
Goes to court? If we were going to go to court, we'll be looking at the issue of perjury, which in 1999 he mentioned. He mentioned that in the affidavits deposed to, in the forms that were submitted, he made 2 claims and has now turned around to say he cannot find these documents that were taken by the military, which had before 1999 operated. And we had the young man at that time, he's now very, very much older, who went to take blame for it. That was Senator Tukuba Fikuyim. And everybody knows this story. Look, no matter how much we try and throw this into the legal balance, it's still an issue that affects every single Nigerian. And I will bring us back to the political issues at hand. That we cannot, for the issues we have currently in Nigeria, wave with the wave of hand and go to courts when we can interrogate this issue. If it wasn't such an important issue, why would channels have it up? Why will it be a topical issue? Because we know the consequences, and you referred back to it, that we do not want to have the conundrum of questioning. We must look at the integrity, the context of the person who wants to become the president of Nigeria. What are the facts he's presenting before us? Can we question these facts and that they're authoritative?
Let me take you to what the Imo State governor said. He's blamed the controversies trailing Senator Tinubu's certificate on INEC. And he said that if the server of INEC was functioning properly, that this wouldn't be an issue.
We have blamed everything but the kitchen sink. We have blamed everything but the kitchen sink. All we ask of this man is clear facts on who he is. Because if we had a certificate that told us this was the secondary school, the university he went to, we have these certificates, we would have been able to question his age at the time, his current age, which is in question. There are many doubts as to who the person of this character that wants to become president. And perhaps if we had these facts, we would have cleared them.
Let me go to Mr. Ogala. Let me go to Mr. Ogala.
I will again advise my colleague, use civil language. We are lawyers. You do not call persons on national TV character, this character. Let's be polite.
I don't want to interrupt him, but I said the character of the individual.
I will not insult an Alhaji Atiku.
I would not insult. I would not insult
vice president of this country.
I would not insult your
Excuse me.
Please let him.
Excuse me. We are well-informed lawyers. We need to be careful. Then we need to also be careful on the things we say, especially when they are defamatory. A lawyer comes on national television and pronounces that somebody perjured, somebody is guilty of perjury. Why have you not made a formal report? This is criminal allegation, which you know is proved beyond reasonable doubt.
Mr. Ogala,
I've said to you,
let's stick with the subject.
Sorry, 1999 issues that have been litigated. Only in 2019, Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the candidate of PDP, went to court on the Buhari certificate issues. The Supreme Court pronounced on it. And a lawyer is coming here to say it's an issue that is alive. A lawyer. I can excuse it when it's somebody who is uninformed. You went all the way to the Supreme Court on this issue and you lost. Does that not put a seal on it? And here you are saying somebody had no certificate. Tinubu rose to being the treasurer of Mobile, a multinational. That in itself speaks for itself. Two-time governor of Lagos State, a past senator, and indeed one of the most successful members of the political class in this country. Of course, it's only natural. When Obama was going to be American president, every brick was thrown at him because he was the candidate to beat. A few years ago, I think there's a litigation in court that says Vice President Atiku Abubakar is not in Nigeria. The matter is pending. I think it came up a few days ago. Would I then, a lawyer, come on TV and say it's not a Nigerian because somebody somewhere said so? No, sir, but it's an allegation. But we will not descend to that level. I won't descend to that level and say Ipa George is not a Nigerian because somebody somewhere said so. So here, what is the issue? Is Asiwaju Tinubu qualified for this office? If so, then, if you feel otherwise, please, there is a judicial remedy. Exercise it. You wait for your principal. Not to say you've not gotten the go-ahead from your principal, and you have to come here to make some extremely spurious defamatory allegations on national television. I won't wait for my principal. I won't wait for my principal because I heard the legal directorate. I see you introduced just as a lawyer and a chieftain. So I can understand why he does not have the authority to speak like I possibly do. But I said to you again, Terry,
just let him land.
I will put it again, and I'm putting it publicly. If the PDP or anybody feels strongly, there's several cases, there are about 3 cases in court now on these same allegations. One by Action Alliance.
That you've been served?
That we've read in the social media. We wait for the processes. There's one by a group that calls itself Gaskia Movement. We joined issues. They suddenly want to settle. There's another by somebody who calls himself Kaluago and a certain body and Ukairo who fight the Action Alliance. The same thing this fellow did. The same thing they did in 2019 with Buhari. I personally handled the matter.
Mr. Ogala, we're almost out of time. We're almost out of time. Let me allow Barrister Hilebo. Let me allow Barrister Hilebo.
When the candidates are there to beat, you must do everything I hear.
Let Barrister Hilebo land. We're almost out of time.
It would seem that rather than face the issues that we have, I think that my learned SAN would think that gaslighting me here would help the matters that we have. Unfortunately, I'm not one to be intimidated by such.
Your time is running out.
I pray you get there.
Because the point is this. We have to find a man that has appetite for education. Education is one of the biggest problems we have today in Nigeria. And that's why we must query, interrogate, and bring everything that concerns this man's education to light.
You have the final say, but let me take you up on what's just a second. Mr. Ogala, just a second. Let me take you up on what he said. He said that beyond holding public office, he's worked in private organizations, and these are organizations that you can't work in without certain qualifications.
You know, when he raised that
does
point,
that not suffice?
I remembered a certain speaker of the Nigerian National Assembly.
Yes.
That was removed because his certificates were found to be dubious. Salisu Buhari, do you remember? So let us not use that someone can fraudulently rise to any organization. Can fraudulently rise to any organization if his qualifications do not speak to the issue that we have as Nigeria. We can, and I certainly will raise these issues.
I will raise them in
the public space.
As I live here, I'm only waiting for your writ, and it's an open challenge as a lawyer. It's an open challenge that you have.
We are going to put this in the court of the Nigerian people. Do you want somebody who we cannot testify to the veracity and the authenticity of his certificate to come and take over the ruling of this country again after 7 years, 16 years of someone who doesn't care about education?
At this point, we've run out of time. I
will not shout on national television.
No, again, this gaslighting.
Can I speak?
In 30 seconds, please.
I will just appeal to my friends in the People's Democratic Party that they have a good lawyer, Buckingham trained, that in 2 days' time will be the deadline for them to file their processes. They should please make haste and do so. They have a good crop of senior advocates who were engaged in 2019, where they raised similar issues and not to the Supreme Court, like they say.
All right, Mayor.
Lost all the way.
Our time's up.
They should please do so
Please
before the
explain to
14th
Nigerians
day.
why he
Mr.
doesn't want to
Babatunde Ogala, thank you.
Nigerians want to hear.
We are not
Why?
Mr. Babatunde
Cannot go
Ogala,
back
thank
to
you.
2015 again.
Gentlemen, Mr. Babatunde Ogala, thank you very much for coming. Also, Barrister Anthony Hilebo, thank you very much for coming to speak on this matter.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's politics today. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.